are back in Bermuda, and the battle between GOW and NG Pros continue, where NG Pros has a 1-point advantage.
NG Pros already have the first map in the bag. They must finish this game off as quickly as they can to stop GOW from coming back. Hans and Demons, already having activated the electrotherapy and bonded together, are moving into the center. Dian also joins them. Cropsy on the far end looks to make the flank. Death has the same idea, but who's gonna spot who first?
Well, that will depend on the weapon that they're using as well. I guess Cropsy also has the M500, but that was a little bit too bold, I would say, to stand in that corner for Death, wherein Cropsy might be able to shut him down, but that's the pressure. The blue closing in and nowhere to go. The fence covered any chance of retreat. And Cropsy, though, down, no chance of being picked up. It's now a 3-on-3.
And Death can afford to stay over here on this fence, knowing that nobody has angles on him. He knows that neither Anubhav, Manu, or Aztec can peek him. So he can freely cross into the house, but he forgot that Aztec can cross that gap and get to him. NG Pros get the numbers advantage. Once again, it's a 2v3 now. They try to converge everybody into that tiny door. Anubhav slices Hans' face off, and they're chasing him to the ends of the earth. Demon almost had it in the bag, but Aztec survives on his last legs. 44 HP is all he had remaining by the time the round ended. It was close. Yeah, I mean, it was labored, but NG Pros got it done.
Here we're going to see the sidestep coming from Aztec, and that saved him. And the extra damage that has been brought into Demon with that blue, he backs away. I mean, focus more on Aztec. He would want to make that hit. He's using a headshot in there, but unfortunately the blue is already closing in on them, and unfortunately GOW doesn't get that chance. But they do have a chance right now. Clock tower we go. 3 Kingfisher against a 1 Kingfisher and 2 on the Thompson. So you can see even a weapon. NG Pros is planning for aggression.
Yeah, get those Thompsons in up close. Generally we see a smoke vortex down there near the staircase window, but none of that sort will happen. Not even a glue wall to cover their entry. And NG Pros have already captured the first floor up there.
See, I mean, they do have the advantage right now. A surprise! No one's seen. GOW, they just cross over. Now, Gio's going to make that hit. Switcheroo and Cropsy with Thompson. Death, Dian, and Demon down on the ground. Good thing that Hans' name starts with an H, but unfortunately he will not be counted out by NG Pros. And 2 points by NG right here, beating down GOW as quickly as that.
The moment NG Pros get that first floor, they wait for GOW to come closer to the house. The moment they start seeing the difference in the footstep sounds, the moment they realize that GOW are inside the house, NG Pros drop out of the windows and they try to force the fights near the windows where GOW will be caught in the climb out animation. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what NG Pros had in mind, if they wanted to force the errors out of their opponents, or if GOW just made that error unforced. But either way, NG Pros capitalize on it. Ooh, Smoke Grenade used this time to close in the distance towards the cyber airdrop. Cropsy lands the first shot on Death, but he's been forced off instantly. Same goes for Aztec, but he can't get away. Demon has his number. Anubhav needs to get the trade, and he's tagging people through the smoke, but he can't fully see, and he can't fully commit to this one. Hans walks into a death trap where Manu is waiting for him. Anubhav in the same corner forces Demon to evacuate that spot, but look at look at Dian. He manages to get Hans the res, and then jumps out and gets that double. Wow, what a recovery!
Yeah, I mean, no casualty for side of GOW. They know how to keep their distance. Dian's flank just to save the team, and as well as the position of the next phase of the circle. But for Death, though, he was not phased. Not even putting up a cover. He was just targeting everyone in that corner, in that clump of blue walls, and he just knows exactly what he needs to do. So GOW takes 1 point for them, even takes a few of the weapons from the hands of NG Pros, but only 1 smoke will be in there. If I'm not mistaken, this is triggered by GOW, or rather from NG Pros. And Hans, though, sees Aztec, no chance to be picked up.
Team Booster deployed. Will it pick it up before they break through the glue wall? No, they can't. Hans drops Dropsy this time. Aztec will get the trade, but Anubhav, his spray converts it. Demon down. Dion, though, will once again come through with the trades, and GOW get a knock as soon as they suffer a knock. Finally, it's Aztec once again surviving on just 40-something HP. And there's way too many of these rounds which are close from NG Pros.
Everyone, like, every time they meet, like, converge in the middle, it was just pure chaos overall. And I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm just seeing, like, not so much of that Orion Orion priority for side of Anubhav, because he could have survived that. He might be the one who's taking down the rest of the team, but he got knocked down quite quickly. But let's see, though. He does have armor right now. He does have a vest, and everyone does for side of NG Pros, and they are now jumping into peak. But stack on GLW, 4-man stack against NG Pros 3. But speaking of stack, glue wall just to make sure that they don't cross the line and get that airdrop.
NG Pros just used their only grenade, same with GOW. So now all the throwables are out of the picture. Maybe NG Pros will once again bait GOW into coming outside, but GOW are not biting that bait. They know that NG Pros have a lot of players around this corner. They have the feeling set for this door. Plushy used, and here goes Aztec breaking in. Tropsy follows in right with him, and they trade frags. Can Hans get the pickup onto Demon? No, he can't. Oh my lord, he was forced out of the angle, but that sprays down Tropsy. That's amazing. Anubhav with the jump shot gets one more. Can Manu finish it off? He's got very little HP to work with, and that's just too much pressure for him to handle.
What just happened? I mean, GOW was red. 3 reds in there. 3 knockdown for the side of GOW. Great timing on that Valiant dash. But a glue wall that has been let out from both sides, I would say, could have, like, saved GOW. And Manu, who didn't put so much of pressure against Dion, I guess prioritizing or waiting for teammates to crawl to him so he can go for a pickup. And I don't think he have a Tiva to help him up that quickly. So, great work on GLW, but they still need one more point to equalize this with NG Pros.
At least economically, GOW no longer have a disadvantage. Max 7s and VSKs across the board for most players, except for Demon, who's still got that level 3 MP5, and he is indeed a Demon with that weapon. Freeze thrown on. So you can see that both these teams are just facing wall to wall. Dropsy and Anubhav very low on HP. Same with Demon on the other side. Dragon grenades dodged. Can they actually make this one work? Because Aztec's going for a flank. Do GOW check this? They find Manu instead. Okay, Demon just struck out of nowhere. And nice. That gets caught in the crossing. But no way out of this one. Demon and Hans, they both converge on Aztec. There's no way he survives this one, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there goes the team booster, but he might not be able to make it. A shot by Cropsy on a headshot, but unfortunately, Demon was just waiting for him to move, and that could have been a 1v1 if they still have that HP to deal with. But unfortunately, isolation in that maze of containers didn't work for both sides in the early part of that game, because I've seen bodies being dropped quickly the moment that they stepped in.
3-all. GOW have covered the gap. NG Pros squandered their opportunity. And now they must fight their Vietnamese enemies on equal footing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, first time. Barrier is pulled off. Dropsy, gun down. Great timing, glue wall. Saves Demon's skin. And there goes that plushy cryo mine. Aztec will try to force his ice grenade onto Demon, but Demon is already out. Anubhav will be isolated into the compound.
Oh my god.
Aztec, the first one to go down.
Oh my lord.
Another one from NG Pros. Even Cropsy couldn't survive, and there you have it. They just put pressure on all sides against NG Pros. GLW, not quite sure how they pull it off, but that was amazing.
I'm having deja vu, Neptune. We saw something similar in Shrines in the previous game. You saw how NG Pros were all converged up in the center. GOW surround them from every direction. And the moment NG Pros are stuck in the center, GOW can basically shoot at them from every direction. That's the same exact thing that happened here in Sentosa.
Oh my goodness. And for those of you who haven't updated or haven't jumped into the game just yet, check it out. Like Winterlands, Dreamscape, you want to see that. There's a lot of collection to take from that game. Now, as the battle continues, a little bit too early on that Valiant dash, but Aztec might be picked up, especially with that blue wall. Ooh, unfortunately, and above, a little bit too late. There goes that Orion Crimson Crush, and he managed to get that shot against the opponent. Scropsy will be picked up. Here comes A124, and the shot from above, not even giving them a chance, brings GOW to match point.
There was like 0.1 seconds left on that revive.
Oh, I mean, you hate that, right?
Yeah.
You're almost there, but unfortunately, you have very limited glue walls, and I don't think anyone else has any glue walls remaining with that maze that has been put up in that spot.
Yeah. 4 rounds on the trot for GOW, and they are giving a strong run to NG Pros for their money. NG Pros could have ended this game here, but by relinquishing 4 rounds in a row, they've given GOW plenty of economical advantage. AWMY also picked up by 2 of their players, Death and Dion. Can they finally make this one count? Aztec loses most of his HP as he tries to go into the central warehouse. Demon and Hans dip back into the warehouse, and almost all of NG Pros are going in towards the northern side.
Let's see if they can pull this off. Here comes Hans, a little bit too aggressive, but NG Pros hasn't made that flank just yet. Smoke covered their approach. Even the blue walls doesn't damage them. But the airdrop has been captured already. It's just a matter of time. Here comes Cropsy. On above, a little bit too late to party. Aztec will need to move at the same time. Cryo Mine on one side, and a full barrage of NG Pros on the other. Death, Dion, and Demon all together. Triple D, but Hans will be taken down. It's now a 3-on-3.
Yeah, Cropsy was kind of isolated, and then they do the same thing to Hans. They find him away from his teammates, and they all just flock upon him like a pack of vultures. 3v3 now. All neutral ground. These teams are just waiting for the Circle to make their next move so that they can force the other team out of cover. But this is going to turn into a battle of patience. Take a look at Demon. He sneakily climbed up above, hoping to find the TPP angle onto either Anubhav or Manu. Manu uses the plushie. Will it force the members of GOW out? I don't think so. They can take a little bit of damage. They can tank those 8s, but they don't care. They go up the high ground. They go downwards. They force NG Pros to come and meet them in the center. Aztec drops down. That's a mistake. Anubhav covers him from a bow. They somehow turn it around, and Manu also strikes. How on earth have NG Pros done this? I thought they would be dead the moment their feet touched the ground, but they hit the ground running and get the 4th one.
I love the ideation that GOW is pulling off in there. I mean, just forcing them on the jump. But Aztec, though, still managed to survive that. With backup coming from Anubhav, he just was untouchable. Doesn't even put up a skill in there to survive. It's more of the planning to counter the plans or the anticipation that GOW has already. So we are on match points with GOW. They still have some cash on them to pull off some strong weapons, but I'm loving this turnaround by NG Pros, and hopefully they can equalize.
Oh, you generally see teams having an awkward stalemate near this red house, but Demon and Hans want to avoid it by going past the red house near the ramp already. Do NG Pros know about this one? Ice grenade tossed from below, and that angle should give Anubhav an idea that somebody is really close. He takes the peek with the TPP, but doesn't find anyone. And the suspense. Man, suspense, Neptune. It's gonna be so difficult to stare your opponent in the face, but not being able to take shots at them.
And the way I'm looking at it, GOW is doing quite well in not being seen. Otherwise, that Crimson, that Cryo Mine would be popped off already where they will be stacking. So, GOW, really good in positioning, repositioning as well. Demon, though, tagged up, he heals up, and potential push might happen for the side of Aztec, but no, he backs away. Both of them buying for time. No one wants to risk it. Dion's hands will be tied as he moves together with the rest of the teams, but a revive is not needed. There goes that cryo mine, spotting 3 of the opponents from GLW. Now, here comes the push from NG Pros.
NG Pros are going all the way around that red house, hoping to take the positions that GOW once had. Maybe this little switcheroo will give them an advantage, but so far, they don't want to step down and risk fighting GOW on that ground below. Demon climbs up using the ramp. The Crimson Crush activated, gives Anubhav time to reposition, and he's got Cropsy with him, but Aztec is alone underneath, and they're sending it onto Aztec. He wants to chase him, but the Oscar Dash gets Dion, and now Aztec has the high ground to pump Demon's guts full of lead. They find Hans, and Cropsy with that double elimination will force GOW to map point again. Both these teams tied up, and we have 1 round to go. This will determine whether or not we go to next era. This will determine whether or not GOW's journey will come to an end.
Oh my goodness. And both of them in match point, it doesn't matter what economy they tried to save up earlier. Both of them in even ground. Both of them has plenty of cash. They can pull any weapons that they have. And loving where we are brought in as well. A couple of snipers, or 3 snipers for the side of GLW, 2 of which would be used by Death and 1 for Demon. But they will need to be smart. Only 1 opening, but no shots to be made. Death right now goes for the flank. So 2-2 split for the side of GLW, wherein that UAV exposes where the teams will be coming in.
I mean, that's the only thing that NG Pros have in terms of information. I hope they get enough value out of this. And even with the information, Manu makes the risky crossing. That was an unnecessary risk. Do NG Pros have the ability to pick him up? I don't think so, because Cropsy is way too far. He's on an island. He needs to escape from here, but Demon's got his number. Demon misses the shot, and now he's been called back by his teammates to fight Anubhav, who is also kinda isolated. NG Pros are losing their members 1 by 1, and they're falling like flies. Aztec goes down as well. It's just Cropsy. While he's been given the chance to heal up, it's not enough. GOW take us to the 3rd map.